Hi, thanks for tuning in. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ingrid Turner. I am a psychic medium, spiritual channel, author, and founder of the Bava Spiritual Mission, which is a nonprofit organization which aims to help you connect with your divine authority and take that out into the world as a spiritual leader. So, one of the ways that we do that, the ways that I like to help people connect with the divine, is through psychic intuition, channeling, mediumship, energy healing. This is like the super highway to spirit. And the point is to help people find their gift, help find their easy, reliable way to access messages from spirit, directive from spirit. And one of the things that gets touched on a lot in my teaching with people is divination and different modalities, different forms of using divination to access that intuitive superhighway. So I don't teach a ton of divination. I used to, but I slowed down because when I'm talking about divination, I'm talking about things like tarot cards, astrology, runes, crystal balls, pendulums, Ouija boards, even scrying, kind of looking at a wall and getting, some impressions. Scrying less so because it's much more abstract. But with a lot of these divination tools, it could kind of tip you away from your intuition. And the reason for that is you can get very mental with it. Like let's take tarot cards, for example. If you are using a tarot card and you pull a card, the easiest thing, what your mind is going to want to do to interpret that is read the book description, go on Google, look up the card for your specific question, and so you end up getting really very mental with your divination. Divination, though, isn't meant to be a mental exercise. The point when we're using our intuition, when we're accessing that superhighway to the divine, is to move ourselves out of the way, to move our mind out of the way as much as possible so that we can receive spirit. Can divination tools be used to bolster that and help that? Absolutely, when they're used to their highest potential. You pull a card and you move your mind aside and you look at that tarot card and you allow it to jumpstart your intuition. You kind of use it as a launching pad. Same thing with astrology. When you're looking at an astrology chart, it's very easy to say, okay, this person's moon is in this sign in this house. So the moon means this. Okay, now that sign means this. Okay, now that house means that. You don't get very far with that. You want to have a basic understanding of divination, usually, but the mental part is really minimal. You want to be able to, you want to trust yourself to look at the moon and the house and the sign and tell the story from there. Allow the story to flow through you. Okay, I got a snapshot there. It jump-started my intuition as opposed to, hang on, let me just study this and write this down and give you the very literal definition and literal translation and then can it for everybody. I mean, you will get some out of that because divination is magic and really you are magic. So some magic is going to poke through. But the way I like to teach divination, any divination tool, whether that, again, is tarot cards, astrology, runes, scrying, crystal balls, pendulums, all the things, all the different things. I like divination tools, but I like to teach them in a way where you're using it as a launching pad. It's so easy to get mental with your divination. So as you're out there playing, divination cards, they can be a really nice starting point. There's something physical. That's the other thing I like about divination for a lot of people. When I'm doing a reading for somebody, when I schedule it and they show up, I always have cards there. I rarely use the cards, but I always have cards there because sometimes we need something physical to latch onto. Sometimes just like pulling it out of thin air, it just feels like it's overwhelmed. It's too much. You need something to anchor it. So it's good. Divination is very good for that, giving you an opportunity to anchor the message. It's good for validation. Cards and divination is really good at validating your intuition. So it's a good way to bolster your faith. But again, there's that line, that edge, that double-edged sword. So that's what we play with. That's what we work with. And when I teach this is, okay, I'll give you a little bit of the mental piece, but really what I want to help you do is access your intuition, bolster your faith, bolster your intuition. so that you can look at something. You can look at the patterns on a wall. You can look at the clouds in the sky, or the way the branches of a tree are moving and growing together, and let spirit speak through that medium, as opposed to your mind trying to interpret what somebody else says about that medium. Make sense? Let me know if you have questions. I'm always ready and willing and eager to dive into this stuff. Thanks for jumping on. Love you to death.